Hello and welcome, everyone. It is time to enter Kumite. I'm joined today by my friend and fellow colleague, Cole Halverson,
What's going on again, guys?
and our technical engineer, the Nine Bro Ninja himself, Sean Myers. This episode, we will be putting our picks in the hat on the upcoming UFC Fight Night, Rozenstruik versus Sakai. But first, we will also be digging into a bit of the Garbrandt versus Font card. If you like the content we're providing, guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. So, Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt. This is a really good fight. A 5-round banger. Rob Font showing he's got one of the best jabs in the game. He doesn't telegraph it. He comes at it from different angles. He has the stinging jab. He has the gauge distance jab. And then he's got the go around the guard jab.
And Cody Garbrandt showed that his time off gave him his chin back a little bit, gave him a little bit more of that durability.
He came off with 3 nasty knockouts.
Nasty.
Yeah. I was worried about that going in, and I thought he was going to get finished multiple times throughout the fight, but dude, he showed like he's gotten better. He's more composed than he used to be. Some of those shots he got caught with, old Cody would have jumped on it. He would have tried to get him back immediately, and I think he would have got caught for it against Rob Font with a hook. But Cody did a lot better on his defense. He still got good head movements. We saw some really beautiful moments. Unfortunately for him in this case, Rob Font would toss out that jab, and he would react. He'd use his head movement to slip the jab, and then he'd walk right into that right hand.
Beautiful jab, though.
So his head
Very
movement
well
kind of went
placed.
against him. I think he needs to work on his hand fighting a little bit to kind of give some defense against the jab, and then use head movement on the power shots. I think that would do Cody a lot of good.
Yeah, because his head movement was not bad.
It's not bad. It's just when you react to
Poorly
a jab,
timed.
and then now your head's there, and they've already gauged distance with their jab. Now they're throwing that power hand right down the center.
Yeah.
But Cody did a good job, making it through there. Rob Font, he held the center of that octagon.
Rob Font had a beautiful night, dude. That might have been the best I've seen Rob Font
That's
in a while.
the best I've definitely seen Rob Font. I mean, he dominated Cody for the most part from start to finish. Cody landed a few big shots, but Cody had a hard time pushing forward. Rob Font just wouldn't let him with that longer reach, barely a longer reach, but he had the longer reach, but he used that jab to just keep Cody guessing. Cody did have he had the epiphany to start using his wrestling. I don't know if he actually integrated that into his training camp or not. But Cody got some easy takedowns. It looked way too easy. And I thought that might be the deciding factor of this fight. I was like, if Cody can get these takedowns this easily against Rob Font's going to have a rough time. And I thought Cody in the second round there, I thought Cody was about to grind out a decision with his takedowns. But as we could see, he's mostly working on his striking cardio. He was a high school wrestling champion, and he's got great wrestling. But I feel like it kind of wore him down a little bit.
The bantamweight champion needs to look out for Rob Font, dude. He's on a tear right now. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Looking good.
Aljamain versus Rob Font. That would be a
Looking
good fight.
good.
I'd like to see who would actually do better at range against each other.
Yeah.
Because, Rob Font's got that crazy accurate jab. He sticks to fundamentals. But Aljamain is crazy. He mixes it up. He throws all kinds of different things, everything in the kitchen sink.
And we didn't get to see everything Aljamain could do in that title fight because he got kneed in the face.
It got stopped early. We did see that, he was kind of losing that fight. I mean,
Yeah,
the momentum was
that's
definitely going to Jan's
true.
side. But, Aljamain in the very beginning, he was mixing it up so well that even someone as defensively sound as, Piotr Jan just didn't know what to do. He was thinking too much, and Aljamain caught him thinking and kept him as reactionary as possible. But, dude, it's great to see this from Rob Font, starting off as a freaking pizza boy. He didn't start MMA till he was 20, 21 years old.
He started off as a pizza boy?
He started off as pizza. That's how we found out about MMA, is he had a delivery, and then he started talking about these guys who were doing jiu-jitsu at their house. And, I mean, that's just really cool to see someone come into the game so late and be here.
The way the world works, dude. That's nuts.
Yeah, and he said...
he came into the game late.
Yeah,
really late.
Really late. Most people do this, at least some sort of martial arts as a kid, But it was really nice to see. He was talking about his girlfriend or his wife. I apologize. I don't know if they're married yet or not. But he was talking about how she told him if this is what he wanted to do, that she would support him. and she took care of him for a good bit of time while he was, getting his training in, getting ready for his professional fights to make money off of this. So that's really good to see that kind of teamwork and that kind of support from a significant other. Like a lot of people don't have that. She said even if he was a pizza boy, she would have been there for him and supported him through that. So,
and now he's on top of the world.
And now here he is. What is he now?
Oh, he's number 3, bro.
He's number 3.
He's looking good.
Right up there.
Looking good.
I would love to see him fight the winner of Corey Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw. Dillashaw's about to make his return. I'm really excited for that. I'm a Dillashaw fanatic. Dwayne Bang Muay Thai fanatic over here. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, props to Robfont. Props for Cody Garbrandt for sticking it out.
Yeah.
And staying alive in that fight.
Dude.
He showed that.
Not losing his head.
Yeah, he kept his cool.
He even, like in the 5th round, he even had a bit of a surge.
He started coming back a little bit, yeah. And even Robfont was surprised by it because he looked so tired. And then I think he, could come out in the 5th round. And do that.
What happened?
Yeah, Robfont even said he caught me with a couple things. And he's like, okay, I don't want to get hit by that again. Because Cody hits hard. You can see it.
And fast.
Okay, so let's get into Rozenstruik versus Sakai, the main card. We're going to be putting our Kumite picks in the hat. Starting off, we got Tom Breese versus Antonio Arroyo. This is an interesting fight. I've been following Tom Breese for a minute now. I think he's got quite a bit of potential. And Antonio Arroyo has some really crazy kicks, especially his body kicks. I feel like that may be a factor in this fight.
Yeah, dude. He's deadly below the waist.
I feel like Tom Breese leaves his body open a little bit. And I think he's going to catch at least one clean body kick here. We'll see if that shuts his organs down and makes him crumble up in the fetal position.
Yeah, there's definitely something in the highlight reel with Arroyo shutting down people's kidneys, with that body kick.
Exactly. Arroyo is a monster with those kicks. Very snappy. But as we've seen, people who have good kicks and not the greatest boxing tend to get out-pressured by somebody with good wrestling. Breese does have really good grappling. Arroyo's no slouch on the ground, but I think Breese will likely have the advantage on the ground. I'm going to look for him to try to catch the kicks of Arroyo and go for a takedown like that. Maybe go for a high crotch, single leg, or an ankle pick. Grab one leg, ankle pick. But Breese cannot go for lazy takedowns.
Yeah.
Arroyo will dig for that underhook, throw him off, and get ready to throw him up against the cage and get ready for some power shot.
And Arroyo's still very early in his UFC career. He's coming off his first fight was a loss to Darren Wynn, and I think he's going to come out hungry, and I think he's going to come out smarter.
See, Darren Wynn had just the perfect build for to go against Arroyo. He's very short, very stout, very powerful, very thick, and a good wrestler. I think that was just, and he had the power shots, obviously, to go with it. I think that was just a bad matchup for Arroyo. Ultimately, though, I am going to go by Tom Breese by decision. That's my pick. That's James King.
You're going to go by decision.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to say Arroyo's second round TKO body kick.
Ooh, getting real specific. I like it. And that's definitely a realistic possibility. Because Breese, I don't know, I feel like he doesn't protect his body enough. And
we'll see, dude.
We'll see if he can take that. I think he's definitely caught by at least one body kick. All right, moving on. We're going into Santiago Ponzinibbio making his return after that Li Jingliang knockout, man, and versus Miguel Baeza. Man, I gotta say, I'm a Santiago fan. I'm a fanboy. The Argentinian, going for that first Argentinian championship. Santiago was very technical. He's been riddled by injury, so he's been
super impressive record, bro. Sitting at 28-4.
Yeah, and a good amount of those were in the UFC too. He was on a tear in the UFC, and then he started getting just injury after injury, and he was out for, I think it was 2 years. It might have been 3 years. He was out. He came back. He fought Li Jingliang, the Chinese fighter, and man, it was just a really good setup from Jingliang, and Ponzinibbio didn't really have time to really settle in, back into the bright lights of the octagon.
Yeah.
But, man, what can we say about this fight? Baiza throws a lot of looping strikes. I feel that Ponzinibbio is going to be more technically sound in the boxing. But I am worried about his chin, because if Baiza does land one of those big looping shots, that could be a problem. That could be lights out.
Yeah.
Let's see how his chin is recovered.
I don't know, man. I think, Baiza's got an impressive record, too. Baiza's sitting at 10-0 with 2 fights under his belt in the UFC, both wins. One of those with Matt Brown.
He's got the momentum. He's got the confidence.
Yeah, but I don't think he's faced an experienced fighter, let alone an experienced wrestler.
Yeah, and the wrestling and his grappling, that's all just extra for Ponzinibbio too, and it's top level grappling.
Yeah.
I think Ponzinibbio is one of the best in the division. I think he's definitely one of the people who can contend with Kamaru Usman and the rest of the top 5. I think he gives any of them a run for his money on any given night. I do see Ponzinibbio being in the top 5. I think Baiza's leg kicks could pose a problem. He's got really nasty leg kicks.
He's got some nasty leg kicks, dude. In one of his previous pro fights, he actually took out someone's peroneal nerve and made him cave.
Just shut him down with a leg kick.
Dead leg, dude.
Yeah, ultimately, I'm going to go Ponzinibbio via first-round knockout. I think Baiza, he goes for those leg kicks too much. I think Ponzinibbio might time that and come in with that right hand. I also see Ponzinibbio just being able to outbox him for the most part. But we will see. What do you think, Cole?
I think Baez is going to weather the storm, dude. I think it's going to be decision still, though, with Ponzinibbio sitting at the top.
That's a good pick. All right. Let's move on to Roman Dolidze, the Georgian fighter, coming back against Lorenzo Stropoli. Dolidze doesn't have the best striking defense, but I feel like his wrestling might be too much in this fight. I feel like I can see Roman. I can visualize Roman dipping under one of Staropoli's big shots and his overcommitment, and then getting that takedown, and then at least grinding out 1 or 2 of those rounds. I could definitely see Staropoli landing a big left hook. I see that being a potential play out, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take Dolidze down.
I think it leaves him too open. I think Staropoli is going to get taken down pretty early, and like you said, I think he's going to get ground down for 3 rounds.
Yeah, and Dolidze doesn't have top-notch cardio. Usually about round 3, especially if he's been grappling a lot, he'll be a little bit worn down, but he's still technically sound for the most part. Maybe not so much defensively, but he can still grapple. He can still overpower people. He can still push them up against the cage.
But Stropoli likes to mix it up, dude. He has a lot of spinning. He does a lot of head kicks.
Yeah, I mean, and if Roman gets tired and grappling him out in the first 2 rounds, and then Stropoli comes out in that last round, and he's coming out hot, and he's throwing everything he's got, that could be a finish in the 3rd round for Stropoli. That's how I see Stropoli winning if he does win. Otherwise, I see Roman, like I said, grinding out that decision. That's my pick. Dolidze via decision.
Yeah, I know I said Dolidze via decision, but I'm really split 50-50 on this now, and I'm going to say either Dolidze via decision, or I'm going to say Stropoli TKO in the 2nd round.
The 2nd round. Interesting.
Stropoli, he seems to come out pretty hesitant in the 1st round.
Tries to feel out.
And then he really kind of lets loose in the 2nd.
Yeah, he's looking for where he might be able to fit in those big shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I like that pick. Let's move on to Walt Harris versus Marcin Tybura. Tybura's crafty, man, and he's getting better every single fight. He may be more technical. I think he is a little bit more technical, but Harris has that leveling factor, man. Harris got raw power.
It might just be the casual coming out of me, but God, I love watching Harris fight just because he's so explosive.
Yeah.
And he's accurate.
I mean, he has a weakness. His weakness is his cardio.
Oh,
I could see Harris's cardio being tested if he doesn't finish Tybura. Tybura also has wrestling. I'd really like to see Tybura go back to mixing in his wrestling often, because he did it for a little while, like when he first came in, and then he stopped and he just started doing his striking, and now he's kind of coming back around to trying to mix the two together. If he can do that and he can do it well and he can dip under Harris's big shots, then I could see Tybura getting that knockout. But I feel like Tybura leaves his hands down a little bit too much, especially on the weirder things like his leg kicks and his body kicks. He leaves his hands down. I see, excuse me, I see this fight being ended Harris via first round TKO. I see it being a hook, catching Tybura with a leg kick or a body kick with his hands down.
I think Harris is going to take it too, but I think he's going to come out smarter than previous fights just because he's on a 2-fight loss streak. But you never know. He might just come out and knock him out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, he does have to be careful coming out there just swinging at crazy.
You just don't know with guys like that.
Yeah, it's hard to pick fights like this where someone may be more technical, but the other has the power.
But you've seen the other guy knock people the fuck out, and it's...
Yeah, it's hard to not see that happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, he may, like you said, he may come out. I mean, for the most part, he gets out grappled when he does lose. But we may see Tybura really just mix everything together and wear him down. But I am going to go by Harris via first round TKO with a hook.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Same. I want to see it.
I could be wrong,
but I'm sorry, Tybura, but yeah.
And Tybura's good. If Tybura wins, I would not be surprised.
Oh,
I would see him grinding it out. I may even see him getting a ground and pound finish in the third round.
I wouldn't be mad at either one of them winning.
Yeah. Yairzinho Rozenstruik versus Augusto Sakai, the main event of the evening. So there's a couple little things to point out here. Rozenstruik has a stinging jab and a sharp left hook counter. He actually tried that same left hook counter against Francis Ngannou, and he countered Ngannou 3 times, but Ngannou just walked through all of it and then knocked him out. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
He's one of those scary heavyweights where he's smart about where he knocks on your door.
Yeah.
He's technical.
Yeah, he was a kickboxer for a long time.
He can knock you out going backwards.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
He does. I feel like his jab and his left hook counter are going to interrupt a lot of Sakai's setups.
Yeah.
And a lot of Sakai's forward movement. Sakai doesn't do too much, horizontal movement. He mostly comes forward. And Augusto Sakai does really good work against the cage. If he can get Rozenstruik against the cage, we've seen against Ngannou. He just goes for counters. I think if he does get his back against the cage against Sakai, he needs to get out of there.
But the number of people that have put Rozenstruik's back against the cage,
it's pretty limited. Because Rozenstruik likes to take the center. Rozenstruik's a plotter. He likes to come forward. That's something I want to see how it plays out in the fight. Who's going to be coming forward and who's going to be going backwards. I feel like whoever's coming forward and whoever's leading the dance, whoever's owning the geography of the fight, I think they're going to win this fight. But I see when Rozenstruik does start backing up, I see him doing that specifically to counter Sakai coming in. I'm going to have to go with Rozenstruik via decision. I don't know if he's going to get the finish on Sakai. Sakai's very tough. He's got a great chin. But yeah, I think he's going to outstrike him. He's going to play it a little bit safe. He just came off that loss to Ciryl Gane, and he was just kind of, I don't know, Gane was just never there to be hit, and always had little counters for Rozenstruik, but Ciryl Gane was playing it very cautiously, and I think Rozenstruik's going to take that same approach here because he doesn't want to take another devastating loss because that's going to put him out of the contendership.
Yep.
So I think he's going to play it safe. I think he's going to outstrike Sakai for 5 rounds.
I'm going to say, man, I just think Rozenstruik is going to get that knockdown. I'm going to say TKO via second round.
Second round, nice. Yeah, I
think Augusto Sakai is going to bite a little too hard, and I think Rozenstruik's going to be there for the counter.
I like that. Yeah, Rozenstruik will throw some crazy feints once he feels his groove. You know,
he's got that looping left hand, and I can just see it catching Sakai behind the ear.
Nice. Okay, guys, with that, we will wrap up our thoughts on UFC Fight Night, Rozenstruik versus Sakai. I'd like to thank you, Colt, for being here, sharing your thoughts with us.
And thank you, James, for having me. And thank you, fans, for enjoying the content that we put out.
I'd like to thank our technical engineer, the 9-Pro Ninja himself, Sean Myers. I'd also like to thank the fighters for going up on the world stage and laying it all on the line. Lastly, but certainly not least, I'd like to thank everyone who entered the Kumite with us here today. Remember, this is not a sport. You don't play fight.